Welcome to all of you. I am Professor Bhoomi Patel from LJIET Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today in this lecture, we learn about the file management concept. Now, why we need a file? Whenever we are using C program in a Turbo C, then in a blue screen, that is our editor, we are writing the program and the output is generated on our console, that is our black screen. So whenever we are printing something, then this output is displayed on our console, but that data is lost when we complete our program. So to store that information, we can use here the file. So file is also possible. To store the data in a file is also possible in a C programming, we using this concept file management. In this presentation, we cover the topics: introduction, operations to be performed on a files, different file modes, and file management functions that are inbuilt available in our libraries. Now let us start with the simple introduction for a file. So file is what? It is a collection of data that computer treat as a single unit that stores the data as a single unit. Now there are two types of file, binary file and text files. So if it is a binary files, then it stores the bits and bytes. But if it is a lines and records, then it is a text files. So file is a sequence of bits, bytes, lines or a record. That indicates what? There are two types of file, text file and a binary file. Now, when computer reads data from the file or reads a file, means it copies file from storage device to memory. And when it writes into the file, meaning is it transfers data from memory to storage device. Now, which operations, which steps we have to follow when processing is done on a file? So first, we have to create that file. Then after creating file, we are opening that files and perform reading or writing into that files. And after completing reading and writing on that particular file, we close the files. So these are the steps for a file processing. Now next is operations to be performed on our files. So we can create our new files, we can open the existing files also, we can read the data from the file or we can write data into the files. If you not right now needed that files, then you can delete it also and close the files. These all are the operations on a files. Now let us start with one by one. So the first is how we are open the files. So before performing any operations, open, close, read, write, any operations, we need to open it. And for that we need a file pointer. So first of all, what is file pointer? So file pointer is nothing but a pointer to a structure of type file. So likewise, integer, float, character, here one data type is there of type files. We have to compulsorily write file in a capital letters. So the compiler automatically understand the file is what. So it creates file. Now the type file defined in which header files? stdio.h. So it allows to define a file pointer using these header files. Now syntax to create a file pointer for open, close the file. So syntax for a file pointer is what? You have to write first the keyword file in a capital letters, then star for a pointer and file pointer name. So the example is what? First we are writing file, then star and the file pointer name is suppose FP. Here FP is a pointer to the type file. So FP is nothing but our file pointer. Now let us start with one by one the operations. The first operation is opening a file. So to open a file, fopen function is used. F indicates it is used for a file. So fopen function is also available in a header file stdio.h. Now the syntax to open any file is first create the file pointer, that is file star fp, that is our file pointer, and fp equals f open. Inside this f open function, we are passing two arguments. First is a file name and second is mode. So file name is nothing but what? The name of the files. The files can be of two types, text and binary. And mode is what? That is understand later in a next slides. Mode can be read, write, something like that. So here the example we are writing for opening a file, that first create the file pointer file star fp, and then fp equals f open. The file name is txt extension. Now whenever you are creating any file, it has a two things. First is a name, then dot, and the extension. So for a text file, the extension is txt, and for a binary file, the extension is bin. So here we are considering two different files. First is text file, and the first argument in f open function is file name. So here we are writing the file name, that is abc, and of type txt. Now mode is what? Here we are writing w. W stands for write. So this function opens a file of name abc.txt, and the file fp is a pointer to that file. Second example is f open abc.bin, that is stands for a binary file. So this opens the abc binary file in a write mode, and fp is a pointer to that file. Now let us understand in a details the modes. The second argument, that is a file modes. So this is the chart for a file mode. First meaning is what? W. W stands for open a text file for a writing. R. R stands for open text file for a reading. A stands for append to a text file. Suppose I have created one file using W mode. So we are writing something in our text file. Suppose I am writing ABC, and then again we want to append the data with that ABC. Then we have to open the file with a option, because we have to append that data. If we are again open that file with a W mode, then ABC is overridden. So when you want to combine the data in a existing files, then you have to open in a mode to append into the text file. Now next three is for a binary files, that indicated by a B options. Here RB, that is reading, but for not text file, but it is for a binary file. Same WB, that is for writing but into the binary files, and AB, that appends to a binary files. So according to the W, R and A for a text files, the similar modes for a binary files, that is RB, WB and AB. Now next six are advanced modes, that is R plus. R plus means open a text file for read and write both. Same RW plus, R plus, W plus, that creates text files for both read and write. A plus, that is append or create the text files for read and write. So this plus indicates you are doing read and write both operations on a text files. Similar to R plus, W plus and A plus, the another functions that for a binary files, R plus B, that is read and write on a binary files. Read and write, W plus B, read and write both for a binary files, and A plus B, that is append and read write with a binary files. So these all are the file modes which we are using in a F open functions. Here in a previous example, we are writing mode W. That means this file is open for a writing. You cannot read data from that file because here the mode is W. But suppose you want to read the data, then you have to use here R. So then and then you can read the data from the file ABC. So file modes are read, write and appends. Now next is a closing files. When your work is completed, then you are closing that file. So to close particular file, the syntax is, the function is first f close. F indicates for a file, and inside bracket you have to pass the file pointer name. The example is fclose function, and the same file pointer that we are created with a fopen that we are passing here. This is a simple program to open and close the file. So first we are including our header file stdio.h, because all the functions that we are using fopen, fclose, all are in these header files. Now first, inside void main, what we are creating? File data type and our pointer, that is fp. After creating file pointer, you are using file open function and the name of file, suppose that is data, and open that file for a reading. Suppose this fp pointer returns null value. That means what? The file does not exist. But suppose it returns not null value. That means we can read the data from that particular files. Here the file is data.txt. But suppose this file is not existing. Then this fp value is null, and null condition is true. Then it prints the message file does not exist. But the file is already there, then it jumps onto this fclose function, because this condition becomes false, and the fclose function means it closes the file with the pointer pointing to fp. So that particular file data.txt is now closed. So this is a simple program how to open the file and how to close. Now the main important thing is file management functions. There are so many file management functions are available. First is fopen, that is already done, creates a new file or opens existing files. Second one is fclose, that close particular file that is already open. Another function is fgetc, also we can say, or simple getc, that reads, C stands for characters, that reads character from the file. Putc, that writes a character to a file. Fprintf, F is for a file. If we are writing simple printf, then it prints onto console on our black screen. But now we are using the function fprintf that writes the data value onto the file, not on our console. Fscanf, that reads the data value from the files. Getw and putw. Getw stands for reads the integer value. It reads only the integer value from the files. And putw writes integer value to the files. Now fseek function is there, that sets the position to a desired point in the file. Suppose my cursor is on F, file management function, in this position, and we want to set on this location after operations, these lines. Then this is possible with the fseek function that sets the positions, pointer position on a particular locations. ftel functions gives the current position in the files in a bytes. It gives the file pointer positions. Now rewind functions, that sets the position to the beginning of the files. Suppose we are creating one file and my cursor is after the end of files, after the end of last line, and we want to set in a beginning, that is our first. Line by line the data is stored in a file. So if you want to move the cursor at the beginning position, then you can use the rewind function that sets the position to a beginning of the files. So these all are the file management functions that are available in our stdio.h header files. In next lecture, we discuss about these all the functions in a details. Thank you so much for listening this video.